Yeah. Trying to post more. I got to film this weekend ASAP because I got nothing for next week.
Let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to another weekly episode of Insider Betting, the show where we give you guys our best picks and predictions for whichever UFC event is on the way. This Saturday, we have the last pay-per-view of the year, the second to last card of 2025. So it's very exciting stuff. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Petr to the rematch. Merab dominated in the first fight. Will it be different this second time coming? I don't know. We'll get into that main event in a while, but I'm excited for a lot of these fights on this card. There's early prelims. There's really good prelims. The main event, I think the main event might be Decision City. We'll get into it, but I'm still excited and I'm going to watch it nonetheless. 6 hours of UFC this weekend. I'm hype. How do you feel about this card? What are your first impressions?
Great card. Honestly, they're the most boring champions on the card in the UFC right now, which it is what it is. But otherwise, it's still a great card. Like you have, I think Martin Vettori is on the early prelims. So when have you seen that? I think you got some other good prelim fights. But yeah, it's not only the last pay-per-view of 2025. It is the last pay-per-view. Period. No more. We're going straight to Paramount Plus for the next big card.
Correct.
So yeah, next fight night is still going to be on ESPN, but everything else we're looking at Paramount, which is pretty dope for Americans because we're based in Canada. We're going to have to VPN that shit to stop paying for pay-per-views. But before we get into the main card, because that's what we're going to break down today, we do have a little message from our best friends at DraftKings over there. So let's run it.
Hey, fight fans, UFC 323 is this weekend. Merab Dvalishvili takes on Petr in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and we've partnered up with our friends over at DraftKings to bring you closer to all the action. Right now, if you're a new customer, go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You can sign up using our promo code INSIDEFIGHTING, bet $5, and you'll receive $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Again, that's for new customers. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You can sign up using our promo code INSIDEFIGHTING. Bet $5 and you'll receive $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Time to make that money.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Love our friends at DraftKings. Get that bonus offer. Why not?
Why not make some bread? Especially if you're watching along on the watch parties on Saturday. We're making bets. I'm giving you guys the plays. We're riding together. It's a fun time. So go get your bonus bets, get that extra little change to make some parlays and make some bets. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. There's actually only one fight on this entire card where I'm not super confident on my pick. So we'll see if we align. Maybe we disagree and then I become less confident as the show goes on.
I was looking at some of your picks and I am against a few. So this is going to be an interesting show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Let's pull up the fights here. Sorry, we're going to run to the end here. Open up the main card. We got Jan Blachowicz taking on Bogdan Guskov. This is one of those classic vet versus up-and-comer fight, with Jan Blachowicz being the experienced vet. He's got championship experience. He's been fighting the best of the best in the division for a very long time. But his recent form has been kind of ass. He's coming into this fight with only one win in his last 5. He's got 1 draw in there and then 3 losses as well. But he's definitely more well-rounded out of the two, averaging over 1 takedown per fight. But honestly, I don't really know how much is going to matter this fight. In his last 11 fight, he only has takedowns against Alex Pereira, which doesn't really say much. And then against Izzy, who was coming up a weight class to fight him. So he just got bullied by the bigger guy. Guskov, on the other hand, he's coming into this fight on a 4-fight win streak, which out of 5 UFC fights. So he's lost his debut and then went on a 4-fight heater. All 4 of those ended by finish, 3 of them by knockout, 1 of them actually by submission. And aside from age being a big factor, because Jan Blachowicz, he's 42 now, and not Guskov is that much younger. He's 33. We usually say fighters cap out at 35. Yeah, Blachowicz is just better than the average guy. But not that age is a big factor. I do think that Guskov, in their current forms, he is the better fighter at this point. in his UFC debut, we saw him get taken down once, and then he got subbed basically right away. But since then, he's improved on his grappling quite a bit. He's been taken down in 2 other fights in the UFC, but he went on to win those by submission and KO. So he's been able to get back up. He's been able to kind of roll around on the ground and get a submission there. But yeah, I'm honestly surprised he's the underdog. I feel like he's a great value pick. I'm just not confident on Blachowicz being 42 years old. I feel like he's kind of done his time. It's on for the new generation, even though I don't like calling Guskov new generation when you got fighters like Payton Talbot on this card, and that's like new gen, you know? But yeah, I'm pretty hot on Guskov. I think he's going to get it done as the underdog.
Bogdan Gustav being the underdog doesn't really make sense, having he's coming off 3 knockouts in a row, 2 in the first round. Like, he has the momentum in his hands. He's the younger guy. I'm pretty sure Jan Blachowicz is one, if not the oldest fighter on the roster. 42 is outrageously old. I think he's older.
Depends how you view Jose Aldo.
I think Aldo's retired.
I know. Oh, I guess so. But before, people were saying that he's older than he actually says he is. And then when he retired, people were like, oh, he's 45. He's not actually like late 30s or whatever it said online. But anyway, I interrupted you.
True. No. It's just like we have a lot of young fighters on this card, and I'm pretty sure Jan's just outrageously old compared to other people in the UFC. I fact check it, but I want to call him the oldest UFC fighter. Anyways, you say something that's very key to be on the show quite a few times. You say some fighters just need to take a loss to get back into it. Typically, that's for a young fighter coming up. But I kind of want to say the same here about Jan Blachowicz. He had that loss against Carlos Alberg. It was a decision loss. He was still in that fight. He looked good. I think this one's going to be a kickboxing fight where Jan Blachowicz is going to be on the outside, using his kicks, managing that distance because he knows Guskov has significant power. He's very smart, high IQ, former champ. I'm leaning Jan Blachowicz by decision here. Not a popular pick. A lot of people have Bogdan Gustav as the underdog. I've always liked Jan. If I'm picking him against Carlos Alberg, I have to pick him against Bogdan Gustav. So give me Jan Blachowicz. I think it's going to be a close one, probably 29-28. Bogdan Gustav is probably going to have the bigger moments, probably rock Jan Blachowicz. But I think Jan Blachowicz is too smart, too technical, too sound, too much experience. Big step up for Bogdan, although he has fought a lot of great competition. Jan Blachowicz, I do see him staying in this top 5, keeping himself close to title contention. Give me Jan Blachowicz. I'm a Blachowicz guy. Polish power.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You got to give Jan the respect, and obviously the odds makers like him, so it's not a bad pick. I'm surprised the odds makers like him. That's all.
You are a bit glitchy, Adam. I'm not going to lie to you, brother.
No. I don't really know how to fix that. I'm going to be honest.
You are a little bit glitchy. It's okay. We'll continue on, and hopefully the glitch goes away. But you're a little laggy over there.
All right. Well, hopefully it does go away. I'm going to pull up YouTube real quick and see how glitchy am I live.
Chunky you are? This one, I was reading your notes on this one. I could say a few words about this before you give your expert analysis, expert breakdown. But we got the young prospect Payton Talbot against the old veteran Henry Cejudo, who's saying this is his last fight ever. Could be. He said Dana White's going to cut him if he doesn't get the win here anyway. So he knows what position he's in. I love the situation for Henry Cejudo. I think it might be a little too big of a step up too soon for Payton Talbot, but give us your explanation, and then I'll give you my pick on this one.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm listening to myself live right now. I don't think I'm too laggy. Am I glitchy on your end still?
Just continue on. You'll see.
Sure. All right, bet. So yeah, we got Henry Cejudo taking on Payton Talbot. Similar to the last fight, you got the prospect versus the vet. But this one's like a legit young prospect versus like not only a vet, but honestly like a legend of the sport, right? Henry Cejudo has done a lot in the UFC in his time, but he's not the fighter he once was. Since coming back out of retirement, he's lost all 3 of his fights. But in his defense, he went straight to fighting the top of the division. He picked up losses against Aljo, Merab, and Song Yadong, right? So he's fighting, like, I think all those guys were top 5. Now, when it comes to, well, actually, I'll continue with Henry Cejudo here. We all know him. He's the youngest American to win gold in the Olympics. He won it when he was 21 years old. That's a long time ago. You can see he's 38 now. But he's also a former 2-division champion in the UFC. Payton Talbot, on the other hand, he's one of the more exciting prospects in the UFC. A lot of fans really like him. He's in it with Frank Ocean, which gets him a little bit more of a fan base there. But he suffered his first loss. He was 9-0 at one point. Now he's 10-1. But he suffered his first loss a few fights ago into Marcelos Barcelos. But now he's back in the win column. Like you said earlier, I talk about it a lot in the show, where these young prospects need to get a loss to kind of learn from it and grow from it. So I think this is by far his biggest test that he's ever had in the UFC. He hasn't fought anyone as big as Henry Cejudo. And his biggest weakness so far that we've seen in the UFC is his ground game, right? He was taken down 3 times against Barcelos. He was taken down 8 times against Barcelos and 3 times in his win against Felipe Lima in his last fight. But we did see some improvements. He was able to get up a little bit quicker. I have no doubt that Henry Cejudo will take down Payton Talbot at least a couple of times. The question is, how quickly can he get back up, right? This is a 3-round fight. If Henry Cejudo spends the first round just kind of holding him on the ground, it makes it a very, very close fight for the second and third round. But with all that being said, Payton Talbot, he's younger, he's faster, he's lengthier, he's taller. He's got everything to beat someone like Henry Cejudo. It'll be tough for Henry Cejudo to get in there and take him down. I think for Cejudo to win this fight, he will have to stand up and box with Payton Talbot. But I'll have to make it a little dirty. He'll have to get in the pocket and try to make something happen there and maybe take him down there while he's distracting him with the strikes. I don't think it'll happen. I think this is just like this is a glimmer of what Henry Cejudo once was. And I think Payton Talbot should be able to get it done. But I am surprised he's a 2-1 favorite, almost 3-1 favorite. I think that's pretty crazy. It's a bit of a disrespect to Henry Cejudo, but I do think Payton Talbot will get it done this fight.
Yeah, like I was saying, prospect, old vet, as you mentioned, Payton Talbot, he's kind of been on a heater, took that one loss that kind of fraud checked him a bit with the wrestling against Jorge Barcelos, where he did get taken down and controlled on the ground and lost the decision there. He is really good on the feet. He has great striking. He has that knockout power. But Henry Cejudo, we don't see him getting knocked out. He's kind of got a really good stomach, like really strong. If he could take shots to the body and not get hurt, he could take shots to the face. I'm not worried about him getting knocked out in this fight, which means I think he has a decent chance to win a decision here, especially if he gets his wrestling going. We saw Payton Talbot. That's kind of been his demise. And against his last fight with Andre Lima, he won that fight. He looked good. But there was times where Lima was able to take him down, get to the back. And, Payton Talbot, he got out of those positions. But when you're up against somebody who is a former Olympic gold medal wrestler, it's going to be a different level. I think they're shooting up Payton Talbot a little bit too quick here. We've seen this with guys like Bo Nickel. Prospects they want to give a title shot to, which is one of – Payton Talbot could be that next guy in bantamweight to go and beat like Henry Cejudo, get a Figueiredo fight and go fight for the title, or beat an Umar or beat one of these guys. But I just think it's too much too soon with Henry Cejudo, especially with everything on the line for Cejudo here. I think he's trained way too hard in the lead up to this fight. And I liked his performance against Song Yadong before that eye poke. He was looking good on the feet against somebody like Song Yadong. I think Song Yadong would beat Payton Talbot. I think Henry Cejudo is going to beat Payton Talbot here in this spot, in this position. This is a huge parlay buster. I wouldn't put my mortgage or anything on Henry Cejudo here, but I'm just saying I like him as the parlay buster on this main event. I think Henry Cejudo is going to take this to a decision. Maybe Payton Talbot gets those big moments, wins a round, but the wrestling, I see Henry Cejudo getting to his back, holding him against the cage, and Peyton Talbot looking frustrated, and the narrative kind of changing on Peyton Talbot again after this fight. We know how good he can be, but it's against those lower prospects where he has that knockout power. Once these guys are in the top 10, top 5, they're not as chinny as the other guys. So give me Henry Cejudo. I think he's got the chin. I think he's got the strengths in the wrestling and the striking to get this one done against Peyton Talbot. It's going to be a close 29-28 decision. Peyton could definitely win that first round, but once Henry sees success with the grappling and the wrestling, he's going to stick to it and get the win here. So give me Henry Cejudo as the underdog. I love it. I actually love it.
So far we're opposite on both fights.
That's what I'm saying. And you said, "Oh, I'm Mr. Confident here. I got the locks." So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see after Saturday night. I think I'm still gonna come out on top, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right. We'll see
next up for the feature fight of the main card, we have Brandon Moreno taking on Tatsuro Taira. We all know and love Brandon Moreno. He's a former champ, always fun to watch, and he's a really big fan favorite. He's riding a 2-fight win streak coming into this fight after beating Steve Erceg and Amir Albazi. I was at the Albazi fight. Oh, we got the little Moreno figurine there. I got to meet Moreno in the elevator in Edmonton when he fought Amir Albazi. That was kind of dope. But he was in a rush. We didn't really chit chat. Other fighters sometimes chit chat, but it is what it is. Tatsuro Taira, he's a big flyweight prospect. He's still extremely young. He's only 25 years old. And he also has like a good chunk of experience at that age. He's already been in a title eliminator fight against Brandon Royval. He lost that fight. And he came back, got a submission win, and now he's fighting Brandon Moreno for probably another title eliminator fight, to be honest. Yeah. Overall, for the flyweight division, I think this is like one of the more fun fights they can make. I think it's arguably going to be more fun than the Pantoja Joshua Van fight, but both of these fights can play out either way. My issue is that this is the first 3-round fight Moreno has fought in a really long time, so that could play to his disadvantage, right? This is kind of Tatsuro Taira's ball game. He's only been in one 5-round fight before. Moreno, he's been taken down 8 times, or he's been taken down in 8 of his last 9 fights. He's for sure the better striker. But in a 3-round fight, takedowns and ground control can be a really big factor. You know, you lose 1 round, you're now backs against the wall. You have to win the next 2. Could be a tough fight for him. I do think he's going to get it done. I'm rooting for Moreno. I think he's a better fighter. But my issue is that I see a very clear way for Tatsuro Taira to win. He hasn't proven himself before, so it's hard for me to pick him. This is the one fight that I said at the beginning of the show that I'm not super confident on. I'm picking Brandon Moreno out of love, but I think I'm going to stay a little far away from it when I'm making my bets.
Yeah, you got to give Brandon Moreno his flowers. Dude's been at that title contender position for a while now, but I wasn't too impressed with his performance against Steve Erceg in his last fight. I think he started a little bit slow in that fight, gave Steve Erceg moments on the feet to catch up and make that fight more competitive, like go into a decision. Fans were like, ooh, maybe Steve Erceg could have won that. So he kind of leaves it up in the air. He's got to start fast in this fight. As you mentioned, it's a 3-round fight. You also did mention Tatsuro Taira lost against Brandon Royval, which is a good point. Like, he lost that fight to a striker, and Brandon Moreno's arguably a better striker than Brandon Royval, so maybe he wins this one. But that was a 5-round fight. That was earlier in Tatsuro Taira's career, 2 years ago, I believe. So he's improved a lot. I was really impressed with his performance against Hong Sung Park, I believe his name is. Yeah. Was able to get to the back, and I think he's going to be able to get to the back of Brandon Moreno here. I see a lot of striker versus wrestler matchups on this main card, which means I'm seeing a lot of decisions on this main card. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to get to the back early. I don't think Brandon Moreno's one of those fighters who is at the risk of a submission, like to a rear naked choke. He's very good in those positions. He's very good at scrambling, but Tatsuro Taira just kind of sticks the backpack on you, and it's like impossible to shake him off, kind of similar to like an Aljamain Sterling almost, or I really see a strong grappling performance from Tatsuro Taira, just getting to the back, holding him and winning rounds like that. Maybe Brandon Moreno could win one round, but once Tatsuro Taira gets the back, he's going to stick to that game plan. So I see Tatsuro Taira winning a decision here. I like him to be the next challenger to Alexander Pantoja if he wins against Joshua Van. We'll get into that next. But it's just the wrestling in these title contention fights and these title fights, it's what's going to get you the belt. And it's unfortunate that we're going to see a bunch of wrestlers take the titles here. And we've seen it in 2025. We're going to see it in 2026. I think Tatsuro Taira was one of those guys. I think it's a very competitive fight against Pantoja. Pantoja's getting a lot of the young bloods right now. He's facing Joshua Van, 24. Tatsuro Taira's 25. Can he get past the vet in Brandon Moreno? I think he can. But again, I give Brandon Moreno his flowers. Hopefully he makes it competitive, but I think he's going to start too slow. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to come right at him, right to a double leg, get to the back, and just hold him there. I don't think he's going to have much success with the submission, but I think he's going to win the decision. So Tatsuro Taira is my pick in this one, and I feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I definitely say wait for Tatsuro Taira to win. I think a 3-round fight makes it favorable for him. I also think the UFC's got to change how they do things. I mean, I think most people agree it's a title eliminator fight, but it's a 3-round fight, you know? Like they got to start looking beyond the main and the co-main to be 5 rounds. Like this feature fight can definitely be a 5-rounder.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tatsuro Taira winning makes a division way more fun. Brandon Moreno wins. You got to put him up against Pantoja again. He's already lost to Pantoja. Like, what are we doing? Sending him back all these times. Like, yeah, he's earning his way back up, but the outcome doesn't change, you know?
For sure. I could also see a world where Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira both have their hands raised at the end of this fight because Tatsuro Taira probably had more ground control, but Brandon Moreno probably has more success on the feet. So will the judges score the control time, or will they favor the fighter doing more damage? Could be one of those ones where, yes, Tatsuro Taira looked like he won the fight, but Brandon Moreno wins for putting on the fight and actually doing damage, where Tatsuro Taira is just holding them on his back. So could be one of those fights where Brandon Moreno wins a decision, but I'm going to lean Tatsuro Taira, control time, gets the win. Going to be shitty, but that's how I see it.
No, I feel that. For the co-main event, we got Alexander Pantoja taking on Joshua Van. He's looking to defend his belt for the 5th time in a row against Josh Van. Finally, it feels like we have a true contender to Pantoja. I'm not saying Josh Van's going to win. I'm just saying, and this is if you look at Alexander Pantoja's last 2 title defenses, or last 3, I guess, there's Steve Erceg in there. Why? Kaya Sakura in there. Why?
Kaya's okay, but yeah.
That was his debut. And then you have Kai Kara France, which I'll give it to him. But Josh Van fucking grinded his way up here. Like genuinely grinded his way up here. So I'm happy to see that. He actually deserves this title fight. He's on a 5-5 win streak. 3 of those 5 fights have been in 2025. This is Josh Van's 4th fight in 2025, and he's looking to get another win here to now become a champion, which would be a pretty crazy 1-year title run. Like, beginning of 2025, most people didn't even fucking know who Josh Van was. You know, he put on a show end of 2024 in Edmonton. That's the fight I went to where Moreno was fighting as well. That got him on the radar of a few people, but like really most people didn't know Josh Van 2025. Bang, picks up 3 wins in a row this year, looking to make it 4. Pretty cool story, I think. But yeah, we've seen a lot from his last few fights. Josh Van's one of those fighters who's a bit of a dog. He can get dominated on the ground a little bit, but he does get back up quite a bit. And when he does, he goes pretty crazy on his feet. And then in his last fight against Brandon Royval, they set the all-time strike record for a combined 419 strikes, which is fucking nuts. And like 419 strikes, like just to put into perspective, per person in a 25-minute fight, that's 8 strikes a minute each. Like that's crazy.
Fight of the year. Fight of the year.
Yeah, no, for real. So, but overall, I do think Pantoja is really good. I do think Pantoja is better than Josh Van. I would love for Josh Van to win, but Pantoja's been a dominant champ for a reason. And I think it just, like you said, for Payne Talbot, where you feel like they're throwing him into the dogs a little too quickly. It kind of feels like that with Josh Van. Like, yes, he's got a good win over Brandon Royval. He put up a really good fight. It's not like he dominated Brandon Royval. You know, like I think they could have given him one more fight before this. But I understand why they made this happen, right? Josh Van has never fought Pantoja. They want to give Pantoja new blood, and Josh Van is it. I do think this might be like one of the more competitive fights we've seen for the flyweight title, because I think Josh Van just can, you know, he's less traditional than the other guys. He can make something happen potentially. Maybe he rocks Pantoja a bit. Maybe he lands a few more strikes than we expect. The guy averages 8 strikes a minute. Like he's really, really good on his feet. But it could also be one of those fights where Pantoja just takes him to the ground, holds him there, or gets a submission win. So, but I do think it'll be somewhat competitive. But yeah, Pantoja is probably going to get the win here. I got Pantoja winning.
Yeah, how do you not give Joshua? How are you not a Joshua fan? Joshua Van fan. Everybody loves him. I love him.
I love him, dude.
Yeah, he's a great.
I thought he was Canadian when I first saw him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, he got these wins. He's buying his mom a house. Like, he's just doing everything right to like make fans love him. He's a good guy. He's a great fighter. He's training. He's preparing for this fight well. But I mean, Pantoja, different level, different skill, defending his belt multiple times this year. Right after he won his last title fight against Kai Kara-France, these two faced off, and he said he would get this rear naked choke submission. He wants, I think it would be his 4th or 5th rear naked choke submission as a champion. And I think Joshua Van's the perfect kind of style fighter to get that submission rear naked choke win against. I think Pantoja knows that. Joshua Van has scary power in the hands. He lands a significant amount of strikes per minute, as you said, 8. So it is scary if this fight stays standing. He's able to sprawl out of those takedown attempts of Pantoja. Can he rock him, as you said? Could mean for a very exciting fight here. But unfortunately, as a lot of these fights on this main card, I think Pantoja's skill set is just better than Joshua Van's in the wrestling, where he's just going to immediately go shoot that takedown, get to his back, and get that rear naked choke. I haven't seen anybody put up a different kind of fight against Pantoja where I could believe something against that. I can't envision this fight. Joshua Van pieces up Pantoja for 25 minutes. I don't think Pantoja is going to get knocked out. So I think it's going to be I don't want to disrespect Joshua Van. Give me Alexander Pantoja by sub, 1st, 2nd round. I think it's going to be early. Probably the most skilled wrestler on this card. And he should move up a rank in the pound for pound as well, because he is just so dominant as a champion. They got to eventually book Merab Dvalishvili versus Alexander Pantoja. I wish there was some more bigger guys fighting in the main event spots here. We do have Jan Blachowicz, the light heavyweight, holding it down at the start of the main card. But these guys are little guys. They're 5'5". So maybe Joshua Van's able to just sprawl and keep it up, but I don't see it going that way, guys. Give me Pantoja early submission here, 1st or 2nd round.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're on the same page there. That was the first fight on the same page, actually. Crazy. I hope you're not against me on this one, but for the main event, this is like the biggest lock on the card, I think. But for the main event, we have another championship fight with Merab Dvalishvili looking to defend his belt for a 4th time in a rematch against Petr Yan. If Merab wins this fight, he'll actually be the first time. It'll be the first time we've seen a champion defend their belt 4 times in a calendar year. We saw Alex Pereira do it 4 times within 12 months, but within the same year, we haven't seen that before in the UFC. So it'd be a pretty big feat for Merab there. In their first fight, Merab won by typical Merab fashion. He landed 11 takedowns, and he also landed almost double the strikes compared to Petr Yan. He kind of dominated him in every aspect. Honestly, I'm not going to spend too much time breaking down this fight. He's done it before. I think he's going to do it again. Merab is going to win. He's going to dominate. I really don't see a way for Petr Yan to win. I know the boxing is there. I know he's the better striker. He's better on his feet technically. We've already seen it last time. It doesn't matter how good you're on your feet. Merab's just gonna fucking wrestle fuck you, and it's done at that. You know, like I genuinely, in the entire division, I don't see a single person beating Merab. The only person that I think has a chance and a glimmer of hope is Umar Nurmagomedov, and we've already seen Merab beat him. You know, but like Umar stylistically is the only guy who has the stamina and has the skill set to compete with Merab's wrestling. Petr Yan doesn't have that. I think it's going to be a really tough fight for him. And yeah, I literally, like, besides Umar, I see Merab, he can lap this division 3 times and he's just never going to move up in weight. Like he's like Pantoja. He's going to be happy to be there. He's like, I'm going to just keep fighting. I'm going to just keep winning. I'm going to set all-time records for win streaks. I'm going to set all-time records for fucking title defenses in the division, and I'm just going to keep going about it like that. So, yeah, I'm super heavy on Merab. I just don't see a way for Yan to win this fight.
I agree. I agree. Merab Dvalishvili really is that guy. I think he's on a 13 or 14 fight win streak, which puts him up there with some of the GOATs. I believe John Jones' win streak was 14-0. So, very, very GOAT discussion talks have to start coming with Merab after lapping his division almost. He's beaten all the contenders. He's beaten Sean twice. Need to see Sean O'Malley fight Petr Yan or Corey Sandhagen after this. I do think Petr Yan loses there. Looking back at Petr Yan's last few performances, Marcus McGee was in there with him. Obviously, Petr Yan dominated that fight, winning all rounds, but Marcus McGee was still in there. Yeah, he was still in there with Petr Yan.
Yeah,
he couldn't get Marcus McGee out of there. Davidson Figueiredo was still in there against Petr Yan, having moments on the feet. I think Merab will have some moments on the feet here. We've been seeing him put together his combos a little bit, being able to hurt and rock Corey Sandhagen. In his last fight, I think momentum is huge. He has every coach, every teammate on his side, preparing him for this fight, making sure that he's ready. He doesn't make excuses. I love Merab. He's grown on me. He's grown on the UFC fan base a lot. He's not the biggest pay-per-view guy. Being the last pay-per-view here, I'd love to see what kind of numbers this card brings in with having a co-main event of Alexander Pantoja and Merab as the main event. I'm curious comparing this card to like a Alex Pereira headliner or something like that. Petr Yan, I'm sorry, buddy, works his way up to get the to the title, and Merab's not the guy you're going to win against. Eamon, weird take, but Eamon Zahabi went on with John Lynch, and he was really activating for Petr Yan to get the win here. He really thinks plus 320 is insane. Petr Yan going to outstrike him, going to knock out Merab. I don't see it going that way, Zahabi. But you can never count a fighter out. I think the odds make sense. I get that people are kind of like, why is Merab such a big favorite? It's because he earned it, guys, and it's because Petr Yan is not going to win this fight. He's not going to knock out Merab. Maybe he could hurt him, but Merab's such a tank. He's going to power through that with the wrestling, get the takedowns. He doesn't get tired, guys. Like, you could see a fighter shoot 3 or 4 takedowns in the first round, and then they're gassed for the rest of the fight. Merab could shoot 20 takedowns in the first round, and it won't have any effect to the way he continues to fight. So I see a lot of takedown attempts from Merab. I see him getting a lot of takedowns here against Petr Yan. I see him also hurting Petr Yan on the feet. I see another dominant performance for Merab. I don't see a finish, but another decision on this main event. Give me Merab. It just makes sense. Don't think that there's value in Petr Yan. I'm telling you guys, I see more value in Henry Cejudo against Peyton Talbot than Petr Yan against Merab. So smash Merab if you feel like it. It will probably cash.
Yeah. Put the house on Merab.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the rankings right now, and like, genuinely, I don't see anyone beating Merab. Like, Umar's still number 1. Umar probably gets the next fight against Merab, I'd assume. That fight could go either way. O'Malley has already lost twice. Petr Yan's about to lose a second time. Corey lost, right? They fought? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
lost.
love to see Corey against Sean or Jan against
Yeah,
Sean again if he beats Song Yadong. And then
yeah.
Davidson
And then
Figueiredo's creeping up. He's fighting Umar. Maybe he gets a title shot. Somebody new there, but Umar should get through
oh,
Davidson
right.
Figueiredo.
Yeah.
And then Umar should be next in line again for the rematch against Merab. That's going to be a hype fight, but I could also see that fight being a co-main event.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. But
it's just Merab is
anyway.
a great champion. He's very dominant. He wins his fights, but he isn't like the most insane fighter to watch. Like, it's getting more exciting. Like, we love cheering for Merab, but he's not Sean O'Malley. And I could even see Sean O'Malley gets a big knockout against Song Yadong. Fuck it, give him a third title shot. Like, he already said he's the only guy that could beat. Like, Sean believes he's the only guy that could beat Merab, and a lot of UFC fans also do believe that. But didn't look good in that second fight. But the first fight, it was close. I could see Sean working his way back up. Maybe.
Well, that first fight was the hardest fight Merab's had.
Yeah.
So I know why Sean says that. I know why Sean believes that. It also, like, Sean just sells to fight. Like, if it's Sean Merab for the third time, that's the main event, and that's good pay-per-view numbers.
Exactly.
Sean brings it, you know. Umar's not selling pay-per-views.
No.
So, like, the UFC doesn't even want to book that.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. Not super excited for like, these fights will be good, but I think there's a lot of decisions. Like, a lot of decisions.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm so excited for these prelims, like Manuel Torres versus Grant Dawson, Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan, knockout potential. Macy Barber, hopefully she puts on a performance, who knows? Nazim Sadikov versus Fares Zaim, that's a huge, exciting striker fight. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira, that's got sparks flying. Jalen Turner's returning against Edson Barbosa. That should be a fun
I'm shocked Jalen Turner's fighting. Didn't he retire?
He retired in Vegas. He kind of quit during that fight. He said he had the potential to get out of that submission attempt that he was in, but he said he was done. He's done fighting. And then God spoke to him, said it's not his time to give up yet. And he's been training his ass off, and he's back. I see him winning against Edson Barbosa if he has that mentality, but it's all a mental thing for Jalen Turner. Is he tapped in? Is he tapped out?
Yeah.
He's so good. He's such a lanky, good, tall, lightweight. He should have continued. He would have had like a deep run if he just didn't lose himself in that last fight. But good to see him back. I'm happy for Turner.
Yeah. So anyway, next week we have, who do we have next week?
Our last UFC
fighting, right?
card of the year, dude.
It's the last UFC card for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, until the
It's gonna be
Paramount.
a long break.
Yeah.
We're not back to like end of January, I think. But Brandon Royval's taking on Manel Kopp in the main event next week. You also have Giga Chikadze taking on Kevin Vallejos. Vallejos, he's a big up-and-coming prospect as well. I think a lot of people are excited to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Only person he's lost to is Gene Silva. So that's an exciting fight. You got Mel Costa coming back. Some decent fights. Nothing super exciting. Kenny and Njoku is coming back.
Hopefully he gets to turn around his momentum there too. He's been kind of on the downfall, but
Jonathan Brito, Neil Magny, Jillian Robertson, Amanda Lemos. You got some decent fighters on this card, but
good fights
next
to
week
close
will
out
be
the year for sure.
Pardon?
Good fights to close out the year. Like, I'm excited for these cards this
for a fight night. Yeah, and this one too is gonna be good. So anyway, we'll be back next Thursday, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Cody's gonna go live this Saturday. He's gonna go watch the fights with him. We got a watch party going on. He'll be throwing out some bets, see how we do. But I think when we come back next Thursday, I'm gonna be a happy man, and Cody's gonna be a sad man with these picks. So
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. But anyway, it's been a pleasure, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.